So a little while ago, I made a video looking back on an old circular for a store from like 95 or 96. It was like the first big year for the Nintendo 64 and like the second year for the PS1 and the Sega Saturn. And people really seem to like looking back on some of this older hardware like it was current. So I decided to take a look around and find an old like circular advertisement that they would give out for the holidays. This from 2002. You can see it here, and this is from November 6th to the 24th, 2002. GameStop Babbage's, and this is their Spread the Joy, Give the Games kind of buying guide or gift guide. And when I got this in, I decided that I would debind the entire catalog, which would allow me to get some pretty high-quality scans of these different pages. Now, there's like 140-something pages, but I went through, picked out some of them, and I thought we would take a look at them here today and see what things were like back then in the second year for the GameCube and the Xbox, and like the third year or so for the PS2. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So as I said, there was like 140 some odd pages in here, but I've never really seen these around the internet. So I thought it'd be interesting to get some of these higher quality scans because they did descriptions for like everything. I mean, all of the different pieces of hardware, the games, you name it, they had like a little paragraph next to each one of them for the most part. I think there was like different cables and one system they didn't go and at least type something out. But like the PS2, $200, which I mean, at the time, that's still pretty good in late 2002. It was a DVD player, and of course it played all of these games. Then you had like the memory card double pack, which for a little while there, memory cards were kind of hard to find, and prices went up in like the secondary market, but $40 for two different memory cards. Also, by the way, I love the kind of the callback to the bit war here still. There's 128-bit. Yeah, we're still kind of there. 32 megabyte RAM gaming machine will have you staring at your TV in amazement. This system has eye-popping graphics, blazing fast gameplay, and silky smooth animations. Now, I believe this is all like, I guess, GameStop Babbage's. Whoever wrote this magazine up, it was their job to come up with these different descriptions. Oh, and if you didn't think Grand Theft Auto was really big, this is right towards the front of the magazine, an entire page dedicated to all the different GTA games at the time. There's Grand Theft Auto 3, there's Vice City, there's Grand Theft Auto on the PS1, Grand Theft Auto 2, there's a GTA compilation that's coming soon. That's right, there was still an original PlayStation game releasing here with some of the different Grand Theft Auto games on it. And they did strategy guides a lot. Like most of the games in this magazine, there was always a strategy guide next to it where it'd be like $10 or $12 with the purchase of a game. So that was their big like kind of add-on where they try to get just a bit more from you. This was pretty funny because we have this bundle here. It's the PS1 bundle with the LCD screen. If you try to find one of these LCD screens now, it's pretty much impossible, like at least in good condition. And here we have the PS1 and the LCD screen attached to it for $150. I mean, brand new. That's incredible stuff right there. Siphon Filter 3 was $17. Even the controllers, $20 each. And they had like all the different colors with kind of like that clear plastic. You got the red, green, blue, classic gray. And then memory cards were $15 a piece. Now, this is the original Xbox here, obviously, but they did have the Xbox Live Starter Kit at $50. And yeah, this was back, like I said, holiday 2002. Microsoft figured out that they could indeed charge for online play. Yeah, they've been doing it ever since. And this was a $50 bundle. Came with the microphone, which was a big deal then. To be able to talk to other people while you were playing these games on a console is like mind-blowing stuff. But it came with a 1-year subscription, the microphone, all of this, and they advertised it right next to NFL Fever 2003 as that really worked to show off what Xbox Live could do at that time. And they also had this bundle here for the original Xbox. This was like their holiday bundle where it came with Sega GT 2002 and Jet Set Radio Future. And they had that S-Type controller, which they went to pretty quickly. I mean, this is a year after the Xbox came out, and they were already bundling it in with the system. That Duke controller just got made fun of so much by the press that Xbox is like, now we got to shrink that thing and we got to do it in less than 12 months. But $200 for the original Xbox with 2 games, one of them being Jet Set Radio Future, was awesome. I think a lot of people probably ended up with that bundle. Let me know if that was one that you had under the tree that year. Metal Gear Solid 2, Substance, Fatal Frame, and these are like right next to that original Xbox. The thing that's funny about this, do you remember how I mentioned in a couple of videos that it was a big deal that Snake was basically advertised heavily as being the main protagonist in Metal Gear Solid 2, and then you got it, and oh wait, no, it's Raiden. Check out the description here. The ultimate that fans have longed for includes the original game plus the boss survival and casting theater modes, previously available only in the Japanese and European versions. Konami has heard the cries of Metal Gear Solid 2 fans. You will play as Snake. Like, it was a massive deal back then. Huge swerve out of nowhere where you end up with this Raiden character. I think they had like a mission mode in this game, and that's kind of how you played as Snake. And what was really odd about this, it was an Xbox exclusive for about 6 months, I believe, in the US. So Metal Gear Solid 2 goes to the PS2, and then like a year or so later, the original Xbox gets Substance for like a 6-month timed exclusive. Yeah, timed exclusives were going on back then, actually a lot with different titles. Now, we also had The Sims, and the reason I picked this one out, because I mentioned on the Spawncast a little while ago, The Sims were really, really big in the early 2000s, and people seemed confused by that. I don't know. A lot of the people on the cast didn't believe me. Here is like the center spread. There's 2 Sims pages. Like, they were just advertising The Sims all out right here. I mean, we have The Sims Online. Sure, there's SimCity 4, but there's a game time card because it was a subscription service. So, like how we have with MMOs, even then, like you had like EverQuest. I think that was going on then. You would have to pay to play the games. But then you have like Sims Vacation, Sims House Party, Sims Unleashed, Sims Hot Date, Sims Deluxe Edition. And check this out. They did a $10 mail-in rebate for previous owners of The Sims. And I assume it's just, hey, we want to at least give you something back since we released this deluxe edition after you probably bought that first one that sold really well. You just had to mail in to get $10. Okay, so hear me out for a second. I know this is going to bring up some feelings for people, but Star Wars Galaxies. I was going through the magazine and I had to stop on this. I was like, wow, this is before it came out. It's still rating pending down here. Sony Online Entertainment. They were shooting for Q1 2003. I think this came out in like June 2003. It had staggered releases across the world. But I saw this, I was like, wow, I remember the build-up for Star Wars Galaxies, especially there are a lot of PC gamers who are really excited for this game. And I mean, it stuck around till just before the Old Republic came out. So I've been like 2011 or 2012 or something like that. But this was a big deal because, I mean, it was the big Star Wars MMO. People were talking about this like crazy on forums and AOL message boards and all of this stuff. Back then. But I just wanted to bring this up because, like I said, I saw it and I was like, wow, that is some nostalgia. Now, eventually we did get to the Nintendo section. I kind of want to talk about where this was placed in the overall magazine, the catalog. But, I mean, Game Boy was everywhere. And you know what's interesting about this? I was going through it. I didn't see anything really Pokemon related. And I realized this was holiday 2002. Ruby and Sapphire released in Japan that holiday, but didn't come to the US until the following year in 2003. So there was really nothing Pokemon related to push for this holiday. So they have like this Pokemon hardware up here by Nintendo. It actually is the Pokemon Center New York edition. At least what it says here. We got Pichu and Pikachu, but otherwise we had a ton of different versions to buy. But when it comes to the Game Boy Advance, there's no shortage of variations for the system. Of course, it was different colors like Arctic, Fuchsia, Glacier, Indigo. They even have like a limited edition Platinum up here. And I mean, look at this description on this thing. Like anyone buying the Game Boy Advance was wondering about this. The Game Boy Advance is powered by a 32-bit RISC processor with embedded memory. The reflective TFT color liquid crystal display is a 240 by 160 resolution, processes images more vividly and faster, and is capable of displaying 32,768 colors simultaneously. There you go. Just in case you know the exact number of colors that it can display. I'm sure most people were hoping for that number while they were shopping for things like Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3. I think this was their like big push for Game Boy Advance games then. I mean, like Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Four Swords. I'll say Zelda coming soon for GameCube. I think that would have been Wind Waker, because Wind Waker was going to come out in December, I believe. This was dated November 4th to December 24th. But then we have like Kirby, of course, here, Game & Watch, Metroid Fusion with the strategy guide right next to it. Like I said, they were pushing that a lot. And then you can't forget your GameCube to Game Boy Advance link cable. So then we finally get into the GameCube stuff. And this is something I was really looking forward to for this catalog. But I realized something. The GameCube was all the way in the back. Like, they went through PS2, PS1, original Xbox, PC, Dragon Ball Z action figures. They had different anime collections. And then they finally got to the GameCube. I mean, look, it's page 142. And I realized this is around the time where I think retailers started to understand that the GameCube just was not going to be a big seller. It's unfortunate because this is like after the first year, but in like 2003, there were like retailers in different parts of the world, I think in like the UK, where they just stopped carrying GameCube stuff because they could not sell it. But either way, we had like Animal Crossing here. Again, the strategy guide right next to it. That must have been a rough strategy guide to make if you really consider what they have to do for these guides and how much stuff was in this Animal Crossing game. And they have like Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse. Mario Party 4. I don't really know why you necessarily need a strategy guide for it, but I actually like the look of this one in particular. It's very like clean looking. It's like very minimalistic in all of this. This is a Brady Games one, but you usually have like a big strip at the top of like red or purple or something. It's like this all white with the logo here in Mario. I don't know. That one actually looks pretty cool. And then once again, there's your little GameCube to Game Boy Advance link cable. I thought this one was pretty funny because I was looking for a GameCube broadband adapter for a future video. And I look in here and it's like, oh, they're just $40 like all day in this catalog. And I bet you people still didn't buy them. I mean, this is right next to the Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2. And obviously, strategy guide. Once again, don't forget that. And then GameCube to Game Boy Advance link cable. They advertise this thing like crazy, by the way. It's everywhere. But GameCube broadband adapter, play online compatible GameCube games with all your friends, easy hookup, and it'll open a whole new world of gaming. Are you ready for the challenge of online play? The system is sold separately, and then they just kind of copied and pasted that for the black. So you had like this is like I guess just gray or platinum. Then you had like the black color variation here. This was another strange one. I mean, you have like the extreme Mickey like sports, right? So you have football, you have skateboarding, soccer, Hot Wheels Velocity X. All right. And they have this one here, Disney Sports Basketball. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what happened here with this clip art? And I almost wonder if they weren't supposed to have this cover art in here. Like it wasn't like ready for sale necessarily or for even being revealed. They just put Disney Sports Basketball coming soon, completely over it. So either they messed that one up completely, like in terms of where this clip art was or the size of it, or that cover wasn't supposed to be there yet. And they were like, ooh, let's just cover it up real quick with this big explosion. Here's a moment where I'd like to go back in time and grab this. The GameCube Wavebird wireless controller, brand new. $35. These are becoming pretty expensive now, and if they're in really good condition, it's like ridiculous in terms of pricing. And it's like, oh, there it is, $35. Comes with the RF adapter and everything. Again, that was a big deal then as well because our controllers were all wired and everything, and to see a controller of this quality be completely wireless, the button input like latency was solid. It was good stuff. But then we had Star Fox Adventures, and it says Dinosaur Planet immediately, which was like the original title for what Star Fox Adventures was before it became Star Fox Adventures. But they also talked about, I believe, the planet they were on as Dinosaur Planet. It's just funny because the first thing they say in this advertisement is the name of the original game. And at that time, we didn't really know that. So they had been telling us like what this game was before all the story came out around that, like the backstory and everything. So it was funny. I mean, Star Fox Adventures, I liked the game. I thought it was an interesting take on Star Fox. I know it wasn't actually Star Fox, but I don't know. I thought it was, sometimes it's interesting, I think, to change this stuff up. It was 60 frames per second. It looked really good. If you wanted a game to show off what the GameCube could do at that time, you broke out Star Fox Adventures because it really did look that good. Of course, Strategy Guide, can't forget that, $12. Eternal Darkness at $50. Another good thing to go back in time and grab there. And then, of course, Strategy Guide right next to it. Then we have Metroid Prime on the GameCube here, again with the Strategy Guide. But think about this for a second. Metroid Prime came out in middle of November of 2002. It was like second or third week. And it's on page 145 of this catalog. Think about all the stuff we went through to get here. All that stuff was like closer to the front, which is so weird because Metroid Prime actually sold pretty well in the US, but it's like all the way in the back of this magazine. There's the Strategy Guide. That one's only $7. This one's $12. Interesting. And we have the memory card. Now, with memory cards, I much preferred them to do blocks over, like I think PS2 at the time did megabytes versus like kilobytes. So you'd flip over the game and it would say like 65 KB, but your memory card was like 8 megabytes. So you'd be like, well, do I have to like do math and figure this out? Whereas it was just blocks with the GameCube, and it was so much easier, I think, to figure out just kind of at a glance how much space you had. And then finally, page 147, you can buy the GameCube right next to Nintendo bobbleheads. They did have at least a bundle this year. They had it's Mario Sunshine GameCube bundle. So the game, and then obviously the system at $190. That's $10 cheaper than the PS2 and the Xbox, and it at least came with Mario Sunshine. The Xbox did come with Jet Set Radio Future and Sega GT. Either way, for the GameCube, which didn't play DVDs, I still think this was too much in terms of pricing next to those. I mean, obviously, you'd like to go back now, buy this brand new in the box at $190, but I mean, eventually they got this down to $100, which is when it became more competitive, I think. It's just a shame that Nintendo wasn't able to act quicker with the GameCube because it's clear it just did not do well in terms of sales, and I think there were a lot of reasons for it overall when it came to Nintendo and how they were kind of approaching this generation like a year in. Mario Sunshine, though, $50, and of course, a strategy guide because why not? And then we get to, this is the back. So once again, they put this stuff all the way at the end. I mean, this is literally the back of that magazine, which some people would say isn't a bad spot because you might pick it up and flip it over and look at it immediately. But I mean, this stuff is all the way back there, and they're not even advertising that many GameCube games. There's Star Fox Adventures, there's Metroid Prime, Super Mario Sunshine, the system. It was pretty rough back then. I actually picked this up thinking, oh, we're going to see all kinds of cool GameCube stuff in here, and there'll probably be a bunch of Game Boy stuff. Not really. This was like legitimately half PS2 stuff. I mean, it was pretty cool to see it, right? But yeah, it just makes you realize, wow, a year into this generation for the Xbox and the PS2, and the GameCube was already getting pushed to the back of the store. And obviously the PS2 was exploding in popularity. So it makes sense why that would take up like the first half of this 140-page catalog. Also, I want to point this out for anyone out there who really likes Super Mario 64. I mean, it says right here with this description, Mario's back for his first adventure on the Nintendo GameCube. It's a 3D platform action game set in an all-new tropical environment, and it boasts an improved and ramped-up gameplay system based on the critically acclaimed gameplay of Super Mario 64. So the gameplay in Mario Sunshine, at least according to GameStop and Babbage's, I mean, it's ramped up, it's improved. I mean, they're saying it. I'm not the one saying it. They're the one saying that Mario Sunshine is improved over Mario 64. But anyway, that's going to do it here for Holiday 2002. Let me know if you guys like these videos, because I was looking at other like catalogs and different holiday buying guides, at different points in time, just to kind of look back and see what they were advertising heavily, what was making the headlines then, and where some of these systems were exactly, especially like late 90s maybe with the big Pokemon push, or even like 2005, 2006 when the 360 and the Wii and the PS3 were launching. But a lot of things to look back on, and if you guys like it, I'll keep looking for some of these catalogs and try to scan them in so we can get a really good look at them. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.